Right. So, as we are, it's exactly as you've seen. We've just finished Pharos. We're going to go do the debrief. And then we're on to... I might do X57. I might do Novaria, actually. Novaria is great. I think we're going to do Novaria. Is there ever anything in here? The personal manual. It's a bit of XP. I'll always take a bit of XP. So let's do these crew conversations. We've got everybody. But the pivotal one with Liara, we're going to do last.
Anything you need, Commander?
I really hate that slow motion walk with Caden. And I know why it's there, because he's a female romance option, but...
What's your opinion on the last mission?
I'm glad there aren't many aliens like the Thorian. I don't think my stomach could take it. One of my cousins has an agribusiness. I was thinking of calling him. Maybe he can get some shipments into Pharos. I mean, now that they're cut off from the company.
I don't think I've heard that line from him before. That's cool.
Just trying to get a sense of where the crew's at. Thoughts?
Well, they know about the stonewalling you've had from the Council.
They deserve to know what we're up against.
They're on your side. They're pissed about the resistance we're getting, especially from our side. I'll have a better handle on all of it when my head stops hurting. Another L2 flare-up.
Anything I can do?
No, Commander, it'll settle down.
Good.
It's rough sometimes, but they spike higher than a lot of L3s. Except for you, of course. Besides, I fared a lot better than some after Kinetics was through.
I guess I'm on an L3 then.
I haven't heard anything about Kinetics in a while.
Yeah, they quietly disappeared. Broke up into a bunch of little corps after they botched the training on Jump Zero. After first contact, Kinetics was set up to track Element Zero exposures and develop implants for humans. Once we had an embassy on the Citadel, Kinetics could bring in experts instead of taking it slow.
The only experts would have to be aliens.
Dead on. Turians, actually. That's why Kinetics kept it a secret. They were afraid of what people back home would think, asking the Turians for help when we just fought a war with them.
The Asari would have been more acceptable than the Turians.
Yes, but the company didn't go through the Citadel. It would have made Earth look weak, so they discreetly hired some Turian mercenaries.
Sounds about right.
Is there some reason we couldn't learn it on our own?
They didn't know where to start. Hell, it took a couple of years to even link biotics and Ezo. Forget trying to get the kids to move stuff. They had trouble just helping them not break their own limbs. And their choice of teachers didn't help much.
I'm sure Kinetics did what they thought was best.
It wasn't best for us. They brought in an ex-military Turian named Commander Vernus. A real hard-ass. He basically had a free pass to break us if it would turn out a decent biotic. Kind of spiraled from there, Commander.
Did he ever face charges for that?
He got his, yeah. But like everything else at Jump Zero, it was under the table. The less said, the better. Anyway, this is ancient stuff. I walked it off a long time ago. I should get back to my duties, Commander. We're here to make history, not rehash it.
Just trying to get a sense of where the crew's at. Thoughts?
I've wasted enough of your time
Yeah,
now,
fair enough.
Commander. We'll have time for personal debriefings later.
We'll talk another time, Lieutenant.
Commander?
So that's Caden. We're going to drop down. Also, I've been through the inventory. Like, the gear is way off. The gear is nowhere near what we had. Assault rifles are maybe the same. But I've gone through everything. We've got maxed out Omnigel, and we've got almost 3.5 million credits. So, we're doing alright financially. Shepard's been investing well in the second-hand arms dealer market.
Let's see what you've got.
You bet, Commander.
And I'm going to treat myself. I think we'd already bought this in a previous stream, but I'm buying it now. That'll do. And that means the wrong thing. I can fine up. No. That one. Oh, it's so much better. And it's cooler. I like it. It's black. Garrus, give us your mission.
Commander, good to see you.
You've been with CSEC a while. Have you seen much action?
Well, not as much as you, but Yeah, I've seen some interesting things.
I'll bet you have. Anything in particular that stands out?
I remember this Solarian geneticist I was sent to investigate. That case was a bit disturbing.
Tell me more.
What happened? Why were you investigating them?
I was tasked with tracking black market trade on the Citadel. Most of it harmless, nothing I needed to pursue. But during the course of my investigation, I noticed an increase in the trade of body parts, organs mostly. We usually get a few of those, but not the numbers I was seeing. We weren't sure if there was a new black market lab or if some freak was harvesting organs from citizens.
You've seen this before on the
Grim,
Citadel?
though, isn't it?
Every so often, some lab sells unwanted parts through the black market, but they're not as bad as the psychos. I remember this one Elcor diplomat we caught in my first year on the job. He was hacking people up and selling their organs, had the station in a bit of a panic. But this case wasn't that
An
clear-cut.
Elcor, though.
Turns out there was more going on than we first realized.
So how did you figure out what was happening?
First, we got a hold of a sample and ran DNA tests. The weird thing was, the match led us to a Turian who was still alive and was very convinced he'd never lost his liver. After a bit of digging, I discovered this Turian worked briefly for Dr. Salion, the geneticist. So I went to his lab hoping to find evidence of cloned organ development, but there was nothing. No Solarian hearts, no Turian livers, not one Krogan testicle.
You're kidding, right? Why would anyone want Krogan testicles?
Some Krogan believe that testicle transplants can increase their virility, counteract the effects of the genophage. It doesn't work, but that doesn't stop them.
I don't know why that would
They'll
work.
pay up to 10,000 credits each. That's 40,000 for a full
Jesus.
set. Somebody's making a killing out there.
What did you do about the geneticist?
I brought in some of his employees for interrogation, to see if I could get them to talk. While I was interviewing one of them, I came across something suspicious.
You mean threaten? Was that really necessary?
Maybe, maybe not. Either way...
That wasn't the option I wanted to take.
One of my detainees started bleeding profusely during the interview. We offered to patch him up, and he got frantic, freaked out. I ordered a full exam to find out what was going on. Our medics found incisions all over his body, some of them fresh. That was our big break. These people weren't just Dr. Salion's employees. They were test tubes. Walking, living test tubes.
That's grim.
He was growing parts inside these people?
Exactly. He cloned their organs right inside their own bodies. Then he harvested them and sold them off. Most of the victims were poor. He'd pay them each a small percentage of the sales, but only if the organ...
Actually,
Sometimes an organ...
I know we've had this conversation before, so I don't mind talking over it, but from a purely scientific idea, if you're growing organs, why not grow it inside the human body?
I hope he got what he deserved.
That's the worst part. We never caught him.
Why not? What the hell happened?
Still
He
grim.
ran,
Makes
flew
me
his lab,
just
grabbed
shudder.
his employees and headed for the nearest space dock. By the time I found out, his ship was already leaving. He threatened to kill his hostages if we tried to stop him.
But you went after him anyway, right?
I ordered Citadel Defense to shoot him down, but CSEC headquarters countermanded my order. They were worried about the hostages, worried about civilian casualties if the ship was destroyed so close to the Citadel.
That's
I told
fair.
them those hostages were dead anyway. It just used them to make more organs. But they wouldn't listen.
Well, you can't get them all.
No, but letting him get away like that. All they had to do was disable that ship, stop him from running. Maybe the hostages die, maybe they don't, but at least we stopped the bastard responsible for it all.
I suppose I can see both sides. But what's done is done.
I suppose. Can't waste too much time worrying about it now. Just wish I could have stopped him. That's all.
Do you have any idea what happened to Dr. Salion?
I sent out feelers from time to time, hoping to find something. I thought I'd found him a while back. He changed ships and changed his name to Dr. Hart, his idea of a joke, I guess. I told the military, but they weren't convinced it was him. I got the transponder frequency for his new ship, but I just can't get anyone to check it out.
Let's go!
I'll check out the coordinates when I get a chance.
I was hoping you'd say that, but Commander, take me with you when you go. If it's
100%.
Salion, I want to be there when you find him.
Absolutely. Does Tally have anything new for us? I think after you give her the data, that's it. Presley's good. Adams is good, sorry.
Shepard, I'm glad you're here.
Good to see you smiling again, so to speak.
I'm sleeping much better now. I guess I'm getting used to how quiet your ship is. But I don't want this to get in the way of our mission, Shepard. First, we stop Saren. Then I'll worry about my own problems.
We can't find out what those problems are.
I should go.
See you later.
Main reason that I've held off doing these, and some of them you may be seeing duplicated. And I apologise for that. It was completely my fault, but I don't think we'd had this one from Rex, and we'd certainly not had the Ash conversation.
What do you want, Shepard?
Why did you become a mercenary?
Lots of reasons.
Such as?
Such as, I needed to get out of our system. I needed to eat. I needed to survive.
Why not stay and help your people?
I tried to help. That's why I had to leave.
What happened?
I was betrayed. I was head of a small tribe. We were trying to restore order after the war, but the other tribes were against us. They followed Jared, one of the few warlords who survived the war with the Turians. But he was old, and so were his ideas. He wanted to continue the war. He wanted us to fight. Turians, Solarians, each other. It didn't matter who, as long as we were fighting.
What did you want?
I just wanted Jared to shut up, to stop his ranting. I wanted him to stop leading the tribes astray. But he couldn't understand how much things had changed. We didn't have the numbers to go to war. Even if we did, the genophage made sure we couldn't replenish our numbers fast enough. I told them all to forget about war. We needed to focus on breeding, at least for one generation. And for a while, we were getting through. Some of the tribes started coming around.
I take it the warlord didn't appreciate that.
No, he didn't. He arranged a crush with the tribes, a meeting on neutral ground. He wanted to talk. We met at the Hollows, near the graves of our ancestors. The skulls of our dead laid bare to remind us where we come from, and where we all go. It's as sacred as any Krogan place can be. Violence is forbidden.
It sounds like a trap to me. You must have suspected as much.
I did. But when your father invites you to a crush, well, there are some laws that even we hold sacred.
Jared was your father?
He was. Until that day. We talked, but we didn't get anywhere. When it was clear that I wouldn't join him, he gave the signal. His men leapt from the graves of our ancestors like Krogan undead.
Bastard.
The few that were loyal to me died quickly. I escaped with my life, but not before I sank my dagger deep into my father's chest. That is why I left, and that's why I'll never go back.
So long, Rex.
Rex has got such a good backstory. It's very, like, the Krogan idea is very Mandalorian, which I think was originally... I mean, I'm not up on my Star Wars lore, certainly not the expanded stuff, but the first Mandalorian stuff where they were in clans and then they branched out was in Knights of the Old Republic, which is another BioWare game, so it makes sense.
Before I go, you said you're serving with Commander Shepard now? We saw him on the news here. He's cute. Later, sis.
Tell me you didn't hear that.
Afraid I did.
Oh, shoot me now. One of my sisters. That's Sarah, the youngest.
I think you've heard this before, but not the Commander Shepard bit.
Chatting up, what's her name? Tassoni?
Liara.
But you
Why
haven't
would
had this
think
bit.
Scuttlebutt says you got a bit of a thing for her. I could understand why. The crew's off limits with the regs against fraternization. And at least she looks like a woman.
You think I'm interested in Liara because she's the only one I'm allowed to date?
So you are interested in her?
That's not what I
Of
said.
course, it could be politics. Alien diplomat's daughter, us under orders to make nice with the bug-eyed monsters.
She's
What's up? You didn't come
bitter
by
about
eavesdropping
this.
family mail.
I think I've just messed this up again.
Your family seems to be important to you.
Yeah, we've always been close. Me and my sisters especially. With Dad on duty so much, I had to help Mom raise them.
I think I've just messed this up again.
Did your father serve with the fleet?
Yeah, took any crap posting he could get that offered space time. You know what? He worked his ass off trying to get recognized, but he never made it above serviceman 3rd class. He was real proud when I made chief. First thing he did was salute.
What about your mother? You haven't mentioned her.
You must know what military wives are like. Strong because they have to be, able to raise kids while Dad's away on a 6-month cruise. She has a degree in planetary geology. She and Dad both wanted to see new worlds. She gave up her career to raise us, though.
You have more than one sister? Sounds like a big family.
Yeah, I'm the oldest, then Abby, then Lynn. Sarah's the youngest. She's still in high school. With 4 girls, Dad used to say he felt
There
more
must be
outnumbered
over
at home than on
a
maneuvers.
decade between them. Should be what, 26 approximately? So maybe a decade between them.
Where did you grow up?
All over. Same as you, I expect. We transferred a half a dozen times before I finished grade school. You go where personnel command sends you, right?
Yep.
I guess that's why I'm so tight with my sisters. We'd have to leave all our friends every 2 or 3 years.
I was an only child, but I get the idea. At least one of my parents was always on duty.
Yeah, military families, eh? With schedules like that, it's a wonder we ever have kids anymore. Things were tense between Sarah and me for a while. Then we bonded.
Sounds like a story. Feel like sharing?
Sarah got herself a boyfriend who wanted to go faster than she did, Mike. I didn't think he was a bad kid.
Ash's
just pushy.
suit
Lynn would send me these worried vid mails,
fatigues.
and I'd tell her to relax.
Much more detailed than Shepard's. Much more detailed than Shepard's.
Where were you when this was going on?
I was on active duty. Sarah's graduating high school this year. This was only a couple of years back. They were on Amaterasu. At the time, I was assigned to Chernobog. Same cluster, but a dozen Hellwire away. Close enough to talk regularly, too far to make it back in an emergency. I couldn't afford a fast packet flight.
If he really liked her, he wouldn't be pushy.
Yeah, of course. If he didn't ask at all, I'd wonder if he thought Sarah was ugly. Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
That's one way of looking at it.
Mike thought they'd go for a romantic walk in the woods, because he figured it was past time they did the deed. She levered Mike face first into a tree and left.
I
Didn't
do
have to
like this
scratch
story.
her. Good thing Mom and Dad had us all learn some kind of self-defense. I took emergency leave and walked Sarah to school for a few days.
You said all of your sisters learned self-defense?
Lynn did pistol practice, but didn't like it. She's kind of nervous. Sarah took Aikido. Abby decided to learn the sword. She always was a little weird.
Abby's obviously the
Likes
cool
big
one.
skirts and tops you have to tie her into. They do great things to her figure, though.
So, what did you learn?
One of Dad's friends taught me Marine hand-to-hand.
You traveled all the way home to walk your sister to school.
It was only a dozen light years, like a day's cruise. It's not like I was going to Earth or something. My last day out, Mike was waiting for us. Sarah had told her friends, so everyone at school knew what he did. He wasn't happy. I wanted to snap him in half, but Sarah gave me this look, this let me handle it, I need to do this alone look. She kept her cool, God bless her, as he screamed in her face. She just let him vent. Then he tried to punch her. I swear, she just flowed around him. Next thing I knew, he's face down on the sidewalk, and there's blood everywhere.
That's unbelievable. Sarah must be as good as you.
Better. I'm more or less a straight-up puncher.
Yeah, she's
With
much
this
more
one,
detailed than
she
me.
just-
That's
she
not on.
wasn't there
I'm the main
anymore,
character.
and he fell. She helped him stop the bleeding and had me call an ambulance. She told the paramedics he fell. Before they took him to the hospital, Mike touched Sarah's arm. I thought he was going to end up on the ground again. But he hung his head, whispered, "I'm sorry," and started crying. And she hugged him. The Williams women are a decisive bunch, Commander. We do things when we're ready. Not before, not after.
Your sister's something else. But you didn't mention your father at all. Was he on deployment?
Dad always wanted to serve in space, but he wanted us to have real ground under our feet. He'd say, space is beautiful, but you can't raise a family there. I cannot rest from travel. I will dream
Principal
life
is
to the
Mr.
limits.
Williams.
All times I've enjoyed greatly, have suffered greatly, both with those that loved me and alone. For always roaming with a hungry heart.
Yeah, kind of zone out on the poetry bit. I'll be honest, I'm not a big poetry lover.
Manners, climates, councils, governments.
What's this crap? I mean, I'm kind of more of a bored now kind of guy, but let's play into it.
I didn't know you liked classical literature.
Ulysses was my dad's favorite poem. Every time he shipped out, he recorded me reading it. He had a dozen versions when he retired.
Does he still like it?
I sure hope so. I read it to his grave
I
every
mean,
time I go
poetry
home.
it's like music. You
Dad passed on
don't
a few
just
years back.
stop liking it.
He's probably still watching, though. So behave.
You mean from wherever we go after death?
Dead on, Skipper. He's with God now. That's not a problem with you, is it? That I believe in God?
I don't care.
Everyone has the right to believe what they want. Says so in the Alliance Charter. Only with fancier words.
I'm glad you're open-minded about it. I've met a few people who were really weirded out by my faith. Because I work in space, I can't believe in a higher power? Jeez. Hello, have you people looked out the window? How can you look at this galaxy and not believe in something? I should get back to my duties. Didn't mean to take up so much of your time.
What's your opinion on the last mission?
Gotta admire those colonials. That's about the worst place for a colony I've ever seen. Given the option, I'd get the hell out of Dodge.
Yeah, that's
We'll talk
fair.
later, Williams.
Looking forward to it, Skipper.
But will we? Because I think I've broken it again. God damn it. Romance is hard. This whole courting situation is crap. Let's cut to the fun stuff. Doc. No, I wish we could have long, in-depth conversations with Chokwas as well. I miss Chokwas. We've not even got to her cool stuff yet.
Commander, are you coming to check up on me?
You look much better. How are you feeling?
Dr. Chakwas assures me I am going to be fine. I was impressed with her knowledge of Asari physiology.
She is the
You're in
best.
good hands. Dr. Chakwas knows what she's doing.
I get the feeling you want to ask me something, Commander.
We've already done all that.
Maybe we could pick up where we left off. You were telling me about your interest in the Protheans.
Actually, I think I was talking about my interest in you, and making a fool of myself in the
That's true.
process.
That's
As
very
I said,
true.
I am not used to dealing with people, especially humans. I did not really know much about your species when we first met, Shepard. I found it hard to take humanity seriously. Your kind always seemed so rushed and high-strung.
That's pretty true about humans, isn't it?
Well, we don't have the luxury of time. An Asari can live for 1,000 years. We're lucky if we hit 150.
That is true. At first I thought that was a weakness of your species. After spending time with you and your crew, however, I think it may actually be an advantage. You humans are creatures of action. You pursue your goals with an almost indomitable determination. It is an admirable trait, but also an intimidating one.
You're scared of us?
Unfortunately, the rest of the galaxy sees humanity as something of a bully. You run over anyone in your path to get what you want.
Yeah, it's probably
It is
accurate.
up to people like you to change their minds, Shepard.
Why me?
There is a reason the Council chose you to become a Spectre. They saw something special in you. The best of what humanity has to offer. I looked into your history.
Pretty true.
I
I
know
am pretty
what
great.
you did during the Blitz. It was a remarkable display of courage and heroism.
You didn't need to go behind my back. I would have told you whatever you wanted to know.
I apologize, Commander. After our last conversation, I was afraid I would say something stupid again. I wanted to know more about you. To understand what made you into the man you are. There is something compelling about you, Shepard.
You're interested in me because of my visions. You just want to know more about the Protheans.
I admit, your connection to the Protheans had something to do with my initial interest, but it has grown beyond that. You intrigue me, Shepard, but I was not sure if it was appropriate to act on my feelings. I thought there might already be a relationship between you and Chief Williams.
I care about Ash. A lot.
I thought so. Still, I feel as if there is also some attraction between us, Shepard.
This is where I absolutely messed it up. By picking there is, it kills the romance with anybody else. And as much as I love Liara, I'm telling a story.
I'm not interested in you in that way, Liara.
I mean, I am.
This is very embarrassing
But I'm
for me,
not.
Commander. Please, let's talk about something else.
She does freak me out with the eye thing.
I should go.
Goodbye, Commander.
And to be honest, Liara, you're cute and clumsy. But this is going to get dark real quick. And don't really want you getting caught up in it, if I'm honest. So that is everyone. There's only 6, right? So what we're going to do now is shoot on back to the Citadel.
We got a transmission coming in from the Citadel. Top priority clearance.
I'll take it in the comm room.
So this is what I was expecting. And this comes early for me. I thought you did the first 3 and then this came
Commander
through,
Shepard,
but obviously
we
not.
received information that may be critical to your mission against Saren.
What kind of information?
We've received an urgent message from one of our infiltration regiments in the Traverse.
I'm listening.
We currently have several infiltration units scattered throughout the border regions of Citadel space. This particular unit was gathering intel on Saren.
What did they find?
Come on.
Unfortunately, the message we received was little more than static. The infiltration team must be in a situation where they can't set up proper interstellar communications. But the message was sent on a channel reserved for mission-critical communications. Whatever they were trying to tell us, we know it was important. Considering your interest in Saren, we thought you might want to investigate this. Find out what happened to our team. The signal originated from the planet Vermeer.
I'll look into it.
Good to know.
The Council prefers not to become involved in the specifics of Spectre activities. We only want you to be aware of all your options, including Vermeer. Good luck, Commander Shepard. We will keep you advised if we learn anything else.
I'll swing by when I get the chance. Like I said, Vermeer is so good. Oh, it's so good. I love Vermeer so much. All I'm going to do throughout that mission is just talk about how great Vermeer is. Alright, so here's the plan. Vermeer is... we're going to do that later. Back to the Citadel, have a look at the shop, spend some money, splash the cash, so to speak. And then I think we're going to do X-57, and then Novaria, and there's some spin-offs from Novaria. We've got a couple of things to do that are spin-offs from Feros. We've got Dr. Salion to do. So Vermeer is a little way in our future. But it's definitely on the list. Yeah, lots to do. But I'm all out of whack on my recording because of playing catch up and then, you know. And I am just gonna double check that conversation with Ash doesn't ruin that. But you guys are not going to know how much time passes with me checking things, because hopefully I can edit it cleverly enough that the only difference would be whatever t-shirt I'm wearing. But we'll do a bit of spending first, I think. That's the plan. Actually, I haven't saved it for a while. Oh, I didn't realise I had one on Pharos. Yeah, you can see from those save times I've blasted through this pretty quickly.